Oh, hello, everybody. A pleasant good evening, a warm, warm welcome, and please find your rightful place here on Pulse of the Carolinas, your public affairs programming provided by Cumulus of Florence's Glory 98.5 FM and 540 AM. I am your results-driven producer and host of this show, Rennie Lunn-McAlister, and I want you to know what a privileged duty I consider it to be to share this time with you each week as we seek to grow our communities together by sharing information, imparting useful knowledge, sparking activism if the situation should warrant it. But most of all, our core mission objective here on The Pulse is to inspire excellence among our people. That being said, I also want you to know that this is a pre-recorded edition of The Pulse, but stay tuned all the more because we've got some really compelling content forthcoming. And to open up this segment with me, we're visiting with the Honorable Mrs. Mary Floyd Spring of Timmonsville, my hometown, and this is her second time on Pulse, but it's been a long time, Mary. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Rennie.
Glad to have you on the show. Glad to have you. Now, you coming this time, you came the last time as a seated school board servant. You were actually in office at the time. And this time you're changing hats with a new vision and an expanded view and a platform and some passions that have grown over the years as a pretty much lifelong Timmonsville resident. Tell us about your vision and the proposal that you're putting before the people.
Well, as you know, Rennie, I'm a candidate for Florence County Council District 4. The seat that I am currently running for is the only contested seat of a seated incumbent going on in the county right now. Mm-hmm. My vision clearly is for my community to improve. Mm-hmm. I look around and I see other communities in the county that seem to have prospered. I see many instances in our community that I just do not feel that we have gotten our fair share and we have not gotten what we deserve.
As taxpayers,
as residents,
mm-hmm.
as citizens,
mm-hmm.
as committed people of the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very often, particularly Timmonsville and the outlying area that's Sardis, Cartersville, those areas that have the Timmonsville address.
Uh-huh.
Well, we kind of get a bad shake in the media and kind of like we're the redheaded stepchild of the county. And
that's not true.
I know that's not true.
That's
you
not
and I both
right?
know that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just feel like that we need some strong leadership on our behalf. On county council, I think it's very, very important that the council understand that the business of county council is about the county, not about the council. And some of the secret dealings and the that kind of thing just doesn't sit well with me. I am a taxpayer. Mm-hmm. You are a taxpayer.
Yes, ma'am.
The people of the citizens of this county are the ones that funnel the money to get things done, and they should be in the know beforehand, not afterwards. And I just think that's real important.
Give us an idea, if you don't mind, of what a secret dealing is. Some of our audience may or may not be familiar with what you call, in a generic way, so that, in layman's terms, what would be an example of a secret dealing, without calling any names, of course.
Well, of course, the county administrator's position was being held in total secrecy, and it was not until, I don't know if it was Cumulus or someone in the media filed FOIAs, or Freedom of Information,
mm-hmm.
To get the names of all of the final 10 candidates or
mm-hmm.
something, and this was all just what is the secrecy? If this is someone who is supposed to serve our county,
public official,
why are we hiding that?
Uh-huh.
And I think another thing that greatly concerns or should concern the
mm-hmm.
residents of the Timmonsville area
mm-hmm.
is the current 76 road widening project that, for all intents and purposes, is going to, if not completely destroy True Luck Seafood, is going to cut that business in half. And he is a committed Timmonsville County resident businessman who employer. So if the presentations that were made to us through Florence County Council and the DOT
in public forums,
mm-hmm. yes, ma'am,
mm-hmm.
Did not indicate that this was what was going to happen. And somewhere along the line, after we were presented with a plan of what the road widening project was going to be,
mm-hmm.
It all of a sudden it was changed. It was completely changed, and people were going to be impacted negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure I understand. I don't think the people of the county, I know the people of Timmonsville, but I don't think the people of this county voted a referendum for a 1-cent sales tax for road improvements and infrastructure to put True Luck Seafood out of business, but that's pretty much what's going to happen there.
That's the effect.
That could very easily be the end result. And he has, to my knowledge, has looked to all of our county leadership for assistance, has met with them, has written letters, trying to get some assistance, and is pretty much ended up hitting a brick wall. And we just need to actively say, hey, no, we're not going to let this happen.
To our town.
We're not letting this happen to our town. We're not letting this happen to our community. And I think it's unfortunate that, well, let me back this up.
Okay.
I think it's wonderful that we have opportunities and jobs and opportunities from industries coming in from out of state. But what is the point of why do we do this to the benefit of someone from out of state, to the exclusion from a lifelong resident, a hometown person who employs local residents and has
pays taxes and licenses and
and so I just think we need to rethink where our priorities are, what our loyalties are, and I believe that our county council as a body should hold our senators, our other elected officials who control the money. I think we should hold them accountable to us. We are the ones that are, like as I said, funneling the money and paying the taxes. And we need to say, we're not doing this to ourselves. We're not going to let it happen to our neighbor.
In a recent conversation, and I don't know if this is restricted to District 4, but I'm sure it impacts District 4. In a recent conversation that you and I had about a study done, I want to say in the 2000, maybe 10 years ago, pertaining to public safety.
Right.
There was a study conducted that revealed that there were so many deputies needed at night to patrol the entire Florence County. That was 10 or so years ago, and you can calibrate me if you need to. But the outcome today is we have even less patrols per capita. Talk about that.
As I understand it, of course, our population in our county has grown.
Yes, ma'am.
And as I understand it, and I may not be exactly right on the figures, but I believe the study was done in maybe 96 or 98.
Okay.
At a cost of approximately $100,000.
Taxpayer money.
Right, exactly. And it was recommended that for the safety of our person and property, we needed a minimum of 13 deputies on patrol in the evenings at night. As I understand it now, we only have 8 or 9. I don't fault the sheriff's department. If they don't have the resources, they can't do it. I do think it's unfortunate that the currently seated county council since 2008 voted themselves a 30% raise in their pay, but county employees have not gotten a raise in 6 years.
So not only do we not have enough personnel, they don't make enough. The ones that we do have don't make enough money. Am I hearing you?
Correct. We cannot keep. We get young people on
taking risks.
Sure, but we can't keep them because they don't make a competitive wage. It's just so unfortunate. We need to invest back into our community, our people, and I believe it's going to take a strong voice. Now, as a council member, understand I am one vote. As an individual, I just can run my mouth.
Well, you get one vote at the polls, but on the 7-member seat body, official body, governing body for the county.
I still only get one vote. So
You've been known to get consensus, though. You've been known in your town council service and your school board service. Yes. You've been known to get consensus. So
thank you.
We don't expect anything different.
Maybe it's with a bulldozer, or maybe it's with a sweet
handshake.
Yeah, but I do think it's important. But you have to be informed, and you have to be in your community, certainly on a daily basis, and not 3 months before every election for every 4 years. You've got to be there. You've got to be listening to the people. It is not about my message, Rennie. It is about the message of our community. We have a good community with good mothers and fathers.
Solid people.
And we need to be treated with the respect and the dignity that we deserve. And I don't quite understand how it's just so easy to just kind of brush us off like a piece of lint or something. I think it's very important that that we have a voice that says, this is not happening to this community.
Okay. Now, what are people telling you as you beat the highways and pathways, talking to citizens and getting feedback? What are some of the concerns of the people? For example, and you mentioned Sardis and I think Cartersville.
Right.
And let me just say this, on the newly drawn maps, I believe since this 2010 census has shown that the entire county and the entire state has grown. You've picked up a few territories.
It includes a little more of Savannah Grove.
Yes,
it goes
ma'am.
back towards Stagecoach Road, some of Ebenezer, the Ebenezer Chase area. So I certainly, as I said, my residence is in Sardis, between Sardis and Cartersville. But I do know that I need to be aware and informed as to the needs of the entire district that hopefully that I'll be elected to represent. But one of the things about the maps is, you and I both have looked at those maps and we've tried to figure them out. And apparently they were just slapped together and drawn and then put out there. And we can't really get a clear indicator. We've got a map, but it doesn't have a street on it.
I need to see a tree or a church or something to know where the boundaries are.
A landmark.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can say, oh, well, hey, I know so-and-so, and maybe they can talk with me because, sometimes people are over anxious to complain about things maybe that are not that important and reluctant to complain about the things that really do matter because they think maybe it doesn't matter to everyone as much as it does to them personally, that maybe this is just my personal beef. And so I think there again, in our community, in our area now, the Ebenezer area, their recreational opportunities, Savannah Grove, their recreational opportunities seem very adequate. In the Timminsville, Sardis, Oak Grove area, those Cartersville, those recreational opportunities for our children do not seem to be adequate at all to me. Okay. And you know that my passion is children.
Yes,
I taught school.
Yes, ma'am.
And my passion there is providing opportunities for children to improve their lives. And I think we can do that and should do that through recreation. And another thing is just simply jobs.
What can a county council representative do about jobs?
Well, the county administrator and the economic development board, that's their job, and it's up to county council to approve or not approve incentive packages and our lucrative offers to entice companies to come here. Yes. And one of the things that I may take a beating on, but I don't mind, I've taken them before, is we are all county taxpayers. I'm concerned about our children in Timminsville as far as the school system. I resent just a little bit my county tax dollar going to promote growth that only benefits students of Florence 1. And I think it's very important that we look as a county council, that we engage in dialogue, the school boards of the 5 districts within the county to come up with a plan where not only just Timminsville, but you have Johnsonville and Pamplico, and Lake City. We need to make sure that we are fairly appropriating funds.
Equitably.
Right.
You mentioned infrastructure earlier, and I've been in conversations with people, just passing by, passers-by that may be in a grocery store or something that would mention to me during this election year, of course, that Cartersville doesn't have fire and water. And that should be a high priority to me now as a citizen of nearby. If I call the fire department, I want them to get there in a reasonable amount of time. Talk about the powers and limits of the county council office seat that you're seeking, and what capacity does a county council representative have to effectuate those kind of services, fire and water?
Well, Rennie, again, as a councilman, it is about the council, and you have one vote. Councilmen do have some discretionary funds that they can, I suppose for lack of a better term, bank from year to year. Okay. They get X amount of dollars. Honestly, I can't tell you what the exact figure is for our district. I'm sure Mr. Fowler, you can ask Mr. Fowler anything, and he'll tell you whatever you want to know. But those, and a lot of times it has to be a trade-off. You might have to say, go to 5 and say, hey, we really need X amount of dollars and we just don't have it over here. Can you help us out? So that's why it's kind of earmarked for our district, but it takes the entire council to approve those expenditures. So that's where it's important that you stand your ground and you build alliances and you make sure that your voice is heard as far as the needs of your community. I don't know that some of the other communities and other districts need fire and water, but you are right, Cartersville does. Now, Sardis-Timmonsville has always been really, really good and responsive and quick to try to answer those calls, and I think they do a good job of that. But again, they need quicker access and, to protect their person and property. It comes back to the thing with the sheriff's department. If you do not put the funds there, you don't have the adequate protection. And that's what we all want. We work hard. We want our person and property protected, and that's what our tax dollars should do.
Okay. Now, you've got a brand slogan or a logo that says Spring to the Future, and you want to remind people about the date of the Democratic primary and in any way that they can contact you. But before you give out that information, tell us about the importance of public input and engagement. I can't say it enough. I can preach it every Sunday on this radio station and show. And like going to the meetings, showing up at the meetings. And if you don't have anything to say, just listen and know. Even though, like you said, there are secret dealings that occur. We can't go in the men's bathroom. Okay. All right. But we can go to the school board meetings.
Right. We can go to our town council meetings. We can go to county council meetings. We can go to our community activist meetings, to the fire department. Go and listen to the concerns of any group that is in your community, in your area, and express yourself, express your opinion. Make sure that your concerns are heard. As your representative, if elected, I can assure you that I will always be available. I hear that complaint a lot. Are you going to be, you're here now before election, and then I won't see you again for 4 years. And I know, Rennie, you know me. You've never had to look hard to find me.
Bump into you.
That I'm at the post office. I'm at the store. I shop at the local grocery store. So you will find me, and I don't mind giving my phone number out or my.
Yeah, give us your Facebook, et cetera. However you want folk to contact you. Let's hear it.
I do have a current Facebook page. It's Mary Floyd Spring 4, the numeral 4, for council. You can contact me there. I have my phone number is 843-346-9197. My cell is 687-0088. And my email is fishfloyd8, the numeral 8, at AOL.com.
All right. And you have some expected outcomes. And talk about the importance of voting before we bring up our guests that you brought with you.
Well, the primary, the Democratic primary, is June the 12th, and it's very important that people vote. Sometimes people think that only the general election in November matters, but this matters because June the 12th will decide this race. There is no Republican opposition, so I need for everyone who would like to see a change, who would like to see a difference, who knows me, feels that I can do a better job, I need for them to come out and vote on June the 12th. And let's see if we can spring to the future. All
right. Let me just say this. Anybody that plans to vote on June 12th, and I hope that's everybody who is eligible, need to be registered by May the 12th.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay. And there are different ways to do it. Go to www.scvotes.org, or you can go to your local elections commission down there on Third Loop Road. You can always call me up here, and I can direct you to some online access, or however you need services from Cumulus Broadcasting. We are a community advocate. And speaking of which, Mrs. Floyd Spring has brought along with her Miss Isis Zayas. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
I need Isis to come up to the microphone and tell us how old you are and what your cause is. Miss Mary Floyd is already teaching children to be givers, not only givers, but advocates and caregivers. And I'm going to put the microphone down here. I need you to speak out strong about your age and your interests in your causes.
I'm 10 years old, and my interest in my causes are autism.
You need to talk louder. Go ahead. And what do you know about autism?
I know that it's a mental problem, kind of, where you can't speak, and most of the time you're getting older and you have to eat out of bottles and stuff.
So do you know somebody that affects your life that suffers with autism, or how did you get interested in that cause?
Because I was watching a commercial, and this boy, he had autism, and his sister finally found out. That's why he wouldn't play with her and everything. And I thought, well, maybe I should raise money for autism and stuff, so they could like find a cure and buy stuff that they need for autism people.
So innocent and so activist minded. Now, how are you going to go about raising the money?
Well, at first we were gonna buy blue lights, and if you couldn't buy them, then we could buy them for you. But then we started trying to raise money for them, and we would put it in an autism foundation. But I don't know.
Can you tell me what a blue light is? I'm really out of touch. What's a blue light?
It's just a blue light that you.
Is it a flashlight or a headlight
No,
or
it's just a regular light.
like a lamp for your bedroom? Light bulb. Okay, and that's very specific. Okay. Well, let me just say for the record, and thank you, Isis Zayas, for your passion. And again, Mary Floyd Spring is living out her passion through children, and she's teaching young Isis here to be an activist and a giver. And I wanted to share with folks, and sometime in the future, we will have people. Okay, and she's a student at Del May over there off Cashua, so we want to help her and support her, and she'll come back with a detailed plan of how she plans to raise money and channel it through the right places for research and development. And I want to thank you for coming. But let me just tell everybody, autism is a complex developmental disability that typically appears during the first 3 years of life and affects a person's ability to communicate and interact with others. Autism is defined by a certain set of behaviors and is a spectrum disorder that affects individuals differently and to varying degrees. There is no known single cause of autism, but increased awareness and funding can help families today. In December 2009, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued their ADDM Autism Prevalence Report. The report concluded that the prevalence of autism had risen to 1 in every 110 births in the United States and almost 1 in 70 boys. This is kind of serious. The issuance of this report caused a media uproar, but the news was not a surprise to the Autism Society or to the 1.5 million Americans living with the effects of autism spectrum disorder. Nonetheless, the spotlight shone on autism as a result of the prevalence increase opens opportunities for the nation to consider how to serve these families facing a lifetime of supports for their children. Currently, the Autism Society, and you can go to www.autismsociety.com, estimates that the lifetime cost of caring for a child with autism ranges from $3.5 million to $5 million, and that the United States is facing almost $90 billion per year in costs for autism. Now, this figure includes research, insurance costs, and non-covered expenses, Medicaid waivers for autism, educational spending, housing, transportation, employment, in addition to related therapeutic services and caregiver costs. So know the signs. Early identification can change their lives. And let me just share with you in our remaining minutes a few signs to look for in the children in your life. Number 1 is a lack of or delay in spoken language. Number 2, repetitive use of the language and or motor in mannerisms. For example, hand flapping or twirling objects. Ooh, that sounds like me, but I'm not sure. Little or no eye contact. Lack of interest in peer relationships, lack of spontaneous or make-believe play, persistent fixation on parts of objects. We need to pay attention, I guess, obviously, to the people, and especially the children in our lives between the ages of 1 and 3. I want to thank my guests, Miss Isis Zayas, and, of course, the Honorable Mary Floyd Spring. Mary, you have the last word. If you want to come to my microphone and just talk about how to get engaged in the political process.
Well, the biggest thing is to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let that opportunity slip past you in this election, in the general election, whatever. You make your voice heard with your vote. One vote does count. If you don't believe it, you can ask the current mayor of Florence.
Mm-hmm.
That one vote does count.
That's how he won.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And get out. Everyone get out. Get active. Get involved. Contact your representatives. Contact your council members, whoever. But let them know how you feel. This is not about an individual politician's message. This is about the benefit of our community and the progress that we're going to make and what we're going to do for our children to be able to come in behind us and continue to make progress. And thank you, Rennie, so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Ms. Mary Floyd Spring. I want to let everybody know that equal time for other candidates will be afforded from this same vehicle. We will hear from the incumbent in a few weeks. I believe we've scheduled it for. But I just want to let everybody know, for the record, in the interest of balanced journalism, equal time will be afforded. Whether they accept it or not, equal time will be afforded to the opposing candidates and pretty much everybody that affects our listening area. So stay tuned to the Pulse, stay connected, stay engaged, and go and register somebody to vote today. Thanks. We'll be back in just a moment.